everyone, my name is Joe, and in today's tutorial we will be adding some sliding functionality to our Relaxr blog site. I'm going to be doing so for two primary reasons. The first is we want to maximize space on our blog. Basically show more articles with less visible content, and if the user is really interested, they can always click on a read more link, which will then scroll down and show that content, and once completed they can click on read less and it scrolls back up and hides the content. The second reason is really just to enhance our user experiences. These kinds of transitions are almost expected now as part of a blog site. In order to implement this functionality, we are going to be using jQuery slideDown, slideUp, hide, and show methods. And in order to give you the opportunity to code along, I've provided code pens with starter and solution code, so you have a working example to reference when needed. And these links have been provided in the details portion of the video. So let's get started. I'm going to go to the starter code here, and this is the starter code, and this is the starter code in full screen mode, and we'll be bouncing back and forth as we make changes. So in the starter code, I've added comments or pseudocode to help us walk us through the process of what we're trying to accomplish. So the first thing we're going to do is add a P with a class of hide and an ID of show this on click. I'm going to be using the Emmet plugin to make it easier to add this. So I'm going to add a p.hide as the .class, pound is for an ID, and this is going to be show this on click, and if we hit tab, boom, we have our content. That's great. That makes it so much easier. I'm going to just go up here and copy and paste some content into our paragraph tag. The second thing we need to do here is to add a p class. Add a P with a class of read more and a nested anchor with read more text. So let's do that. P with a class of read more and a nested anchor, which requires that we use the greater than sign, give it an A for anchor, tab it, and there we have it. So I'm going to give this a read more with a greater than sign, and then for the last one it is a P with a class of read less and a class of hide, as well as a nested anchor tag. And this has some content of read less with a less than sign, right? Less than. Okay, great. I'm gonna save this. Go over here, we'll refresh, and we should see the content now visible. That's great. Okay, so I do see some CSS styling that needs to be incorporated right now. The read more and the read less need to be positioned right, and the lorem ipsum text here, that second paragraph, needs to be hidden by default on page load. So let's go into CSS and take a quick look. And that's the end of our HTML for right now. So I'm going to go in here and see add read more and read less classes. So I'm going to go read more, comma, read less, and we are going to give them a text align of right. All right, we save this, take a quick look. We should see them text align right, which is what we're looking for. Great. We're also going to change the color of the anchor tags. Yeah, they're kind of like purplish here, and really we want it to be this kind of bold blue here, bold font and kind of dark blue. So let's go in here to our anchor tags, and in our anchor tag we are going to read more anchor, read less anchor, and in here we'll give it a color of RGB. We're going to give it a red of 4, a green of 48, and a blue of 73. And that should do the trick. And we also want to give it a font weight. We want it to look strong. Could have said strong, but we're going to go to font weight instead. All right, I'm going to save that, go back here, refresh, and we have what we're looking for. Now we need to hide the paragraph text. So add the hide class, and we're going to do hide. And the easiest way to hide something in HTML is to do a display of none. That way the content is there, but it's being hidden at this time. So let's save that. Let's go back here, and we should see both the paragraph text and the read less hidden. Now, if I click on this, nothing really happens. The anchor tag isn't really doing it. It's just kind of refreshing the page. This is where we need to step into our actual JavaScript. So in here, I've added some pseudocode, and this is going to walk us through. So the first thing that we need to do in our pseudocode is to grab the document. So we're going to use jQuery to grab the document, and we're going to add a ready method. And what this does is, once the page is loaded, this then executes. So it takes a callback function, and in that callback function, we are actually going to put all of this content. So I'm actually going to cut and paste all of that into here. All right? So great. Let us do this. We are going to grab the, we're going to grab the read more class, and we're going to add a click event, right? Because we already know that we want the user to click and then do something when they click, right? Scroll down and hide. So that also takes a callback function. And in this callback function, we are going to add this content right here. So let's take this, stick that in here. Okay. So we need to grab the show this on click ID, and we are going to add the slide down method. All right, I'm going to save this. We're going to test this out real quick. Now, we could have used the show to do this as well. So let's take a look and see. So I'm going to refresh this page, and if we click on read more, see what's happening? Page keeps refreshing, and that's because in our code, one thing we do need to do, and possibly should have added this first, is to prevent the page from reloading. And we do that by adding an event dot prevent default. Okay. Also gonna put my semicolons here. See a few semicolons need to be put there. I'm gonna save this, go back here, refresh, and let's take a look and see what we got. So read more, it slides down. Now if I click on this, the text didn't change, and by clicking on it, it's not doing anything. We haven't added that functionality yet. So I'm going to go back here and see what else we have to do. So we need to now grab, so I'm just going to push this over, and I like my code to be aligned. This makes it visually more appealing for me. And we are going to do read more, and this we are going to hide. Okay, so once again, if I save this, and we do this, and I refresh the page, and I click read more, hides, we see the text, but we don't yet see the read less. Okay, so we want to see the read less, so now we need to grab that, right? Read less, and we need to show that. So if we do that, we go here, we refresh, we see read more, click on that, read less. We click on read less, just kind of refreshes the page, doesn't really do anything. Refreshes the page, we go back to our default state. So read less isn't really doing anything at this point in time. We're going to need to do that down here. So let's take care of that. So here we are going to grab our read less class and also add a click event. Okay, and that click event takes callback function, and we're going to do this. I'm going to add these comments in here because that's where we're actually going to be placing the content. Let's do that. Right, so first I'm going to do this prevent default. I'm just going to copy the code here. Just going to make it easier to do. Right. So if I save this and we go back here, remember we didn't do much. I'm going to do read more, but if we do read less, yeah, so read less now does not flash the page, does not refresh it. So that's what we're looking for. We're going to go here and we are going to grab the show this on click, and we are going to append the slide up method. Okay, once again, if we save this and we go back, refresh the page, we go read more, read less. Great, that's the functionality we want. But now look, read less is still there, so we need to kind of reverse that logic. So let's go here and grab the read less class, and we're going to add a hide method here. All right, so let's take a quick look and see. I always like to go back and forth. As they make changes, I like to see those changes and know that they work, versus adding a lot of content and then realizing later something didn't work. All right, so it does hide it, but it doesn't show our read more, which only requires that we, once again, grab, I'll use single quotes, grab read more, and for this we're gonna show it. Really simple. Let's go back here and let's refresh. Let's test this out. Read more and read more and read less. So why is it doing that? Let me refresh one more time. See the pages. Read more, read less. Read more, read less. Not sure why it's doing that. Prevent default. So let's see why it's doing that. Event prevent default. Read more show, read less. Right. Read less class, hide, slide up. Let's add semicolons here so we're properly closing everything. Save it. Let's take one more look here and say, shouldn't be doing that. Read less. Not really sure why it's flipping out like that. So prevent default, maybe I didn't spell it right. Prevent default from reloading. Yep, I don't get why it's doing that. Let's show, okay. So we have the basic functionality. I'll figure that out later. We have this and we have that. So that's the functionality that we're looking for. Sometimes I do notice, once this is done, I'm gonna go change the view, go to full page mode. Let's take a look. Sometimes reloading the page does the trick. It's doing it, but it's still kind of refreshing the page. Not sure why. You get the general idea. So that's basically the goal of this tutorial. And so now you have a way of showing and displaying content using slide up, slide down, hide and show, jQuery methods to really make your site a bit more interactive. Thank you for watching.